Kramerville in Johannesburg. We're here at Marlborough Place where Level 3 is situated. That's where Standard Bank and the National Arts Festival chose to host the 2015 Standard Bank Young Artist of the Year Awards on Tuesday evening. Welcome to this edition of the Art Bulletin. And thank you very much for staying with us. Local fashion designer Anisa Mpungwe of Loincloth and Ashes has teamed up with fashion retailer Mr. Price to form a collection that celebrates Africa. According to Mpungwe, this range is bold and fearless.
The new range that I have with Mr. Price was inspired by my trip around Africa. I'm originally from Tanzania, so for me to have that bridge between Tanzania and South Africa was a plus, but to experience, for example, the West Africa was also like an enriching experience, particularly Nigeria. They have a lot of colors, they are very vibrant, they're super confident, and I wanted to incorporate some of that energy into the collection. The good thing about the third collection is not only is it you can access it in South Africa, but you can also access it throughout Africa wherever Mr. Price is. On top of that, online as well. So we're getting a lot of feedback, we're getting a lot of energy from all over the place. And this collection is really about Africans and how we portray print. So I don't want to be political or sound political, but it is for the people.
South Africa's first dance feature film titled Hear Me Move is heading to the UK as part of South Africa at 20, the Freedom Tour. Hear Me Move is directed by Scott L. Smith and choreographed by Paul Mujaji.
It is our reaction to all of those films that people love, like Stomp the Yard, Step Up. What's the one that you like, Paul, with the ballet?
Center Stage.
Center Stage. Hear Me Move is the reaction to that whole paradigm, but taken from an African experience that uses globally cool ideas, beats, people to tell a story about who we really are. We got invited by 5 film festivals from the UK who asked us to come and be either the opening or closing film in their festival. So it's called Africa in Motion, and there are a whole bunch of them. There's one in Wales, in Edinburgh, in London, all over the UK. Hear Me Move is either going to be opening or closing the festival. It's a fantastic opportunity to spread to the world how great we are.
We've never really had a dance film that represents what the dance culture is all about in South Africa. So we really try to tell as much as we can. We went West African, we went right here in South Africa and told our local dance styles like your Panzola, your Bourgeois, Skotani dance style. So it's really a plethora of just like, all these dance genres that you can imagine, and also telling, of course, the essence and the spirit of where South Africans are right now.
The Tshwane University of Technology's Department of Drama and Film is celebrating their annual Verve Physical Theatre Festival, which kicked off yesterday at the Rostrum Theatre at their arts campus. Now, this festival, which sees the works of more than 30 drama students showcased, is operating under the theme Dispossessed this year. It comes to an end today.
The festival is called Verve because Verve means energy, and obviously physical theatre has a lot of energy involved. And over the past years that we've been running this platform for physical theatre and performance art, it's grown, and the energy is snowballing, so it's earned its name. BTech students, their final year, that are specialising in physical theatre. So we have 9 pieces that they have conceptualised themselves, and the standard is good. Obviously there's always room for improvement, but I'm proud of what they've achieved so far. They use undergraduate students, first, second and third years, to perform for them, which makes it a whole conglomeration, which is lovely. So this year we're dividing the audience in 2 and taking them on 2 different journeys that will then coincide with the augmented reality exhibition and then go off into the other spheres.
In 1988, a much younger Gideon Mendel exhibited a collection of photos at the Market Photo Workshop titled Living in Yoville. It pretty much documented encounters of black and white people in Yoville's public spaces. Now he's chosen to revisit that project in an exhibition that ends on the 24th of November at Gallery Momo in Parktown North. He calls it Living in Yoville Revisited.
With time, with the kind of force of history of the last 26 years, I think these pictures have become perhaps almost more interesting. What I was doing when I was photographing was I was watching out for those very small moments of contact between black and white in Yoville, which was the area where I lived. And, I think we're all aware of the images of the struggle and the images from the townships of that period. But I don't think there are many pictures like this which just show very, very normal moments in everyday life. I had kind of forgotten about the body of work. There were some good photographs, but I have in the last couple of years, for a whole lot of reasons, come to realize that actually it's a very interesting, self-contained, coherent body of work about daily life in South Africa in the final years of apartheid. So it just felt like it was a good time and a good idea to revisit that body of work in that exhibition. So some of these photographs are the exact same prints we exhibited 26 years ago.
Last year at the National Arts Festival, a play titled My Name is Rachel Corrie premiered with a sold-out run. Kate Licorice, who's the lead in that play, would later be nominated for 2 Flordy Cup Awards for that play. If that doesn't get you in full anticipation mode to see the Market Theatre run, which kicked off on Tuesday and ends on the 23rd of November, I don't know what will.
She's a young, innocent person who represents the struggle against inhumanity, the inhumanity of war, the inhumanity of oppression. And like Anne Frank, there's so many other people who suffer, but like Anne Frank, she wrote. Kate is an extraordinary actor. She really is quite amazing. And there's a lovely moment when Hearts and Eyes had decided to do the piece, and I was auditioning for the act. I was looking, and I auditioned some very, very young actors, and really looking for the right person. And we're based in Cape Town. I emailed Kate and I said, are you available? And she said, because I'd known her when she was studying at UCT, and she said, yes, but do you know that I've moved to Joburg? And I said, no, I didn't. And she said, well, will you still consider me? And I said, well, okay. The thing about the story of Rachel Corrie is that it is set in the context, she died in 2003, and it's set in the context of this really complex situation in the Middle East. And she went as a volunteer, as a protester, to Gaza, to the city of Rafah, where civilian homes were being demolished. What was happening was the Israeli Defense Force were creating an exclusion zone, and in order to do so, a military exclusion zone, they were demolishing thousands of civilian homes. And I think that creates such a resonance for South Africans because of our history of forced removal, how innocent civilians were moved from one place to another, homes destroyed by bulldozers like was happening in Rafah. We're running until the 16th of November at the Barney Simon Theatre upstairs at the Market Theatre.
On Thursday morning, the Coca-Cola Dome in Northgate, Johannesburg opened its doors to the annual Photo and Film Expo. It's the largest imaging event on the continent and sees about 100 workshops, among other things. We spoke to the organizers about the event that comes to an end tomorrow.
Well, it's a once-a-year event that is unique. There is no other event like it. We've got all the products that you don't see in the normal stores. We've got the show specials. We've got the amazing workshops. We've got the collaboration of everybody together under one roof and the networking. So it's a no-brainer. If you're a photographer, you've got to be here. In terms of participants, we've got both our exhibitors. We've got almost 400 brands represented this year, and we've got 140 unique workshops for people to attend. They're all free, so you just get your first come, first served. We've got more specials, more brands, more people. Everything's just more.
The world of South African photography is still reeling from the shock caused by the death of arguably one of the most promising photographers of his generation. Tabis Sakala took his own life in his Joburg flat 2 weeks ago.
Sakala was born in Hammanskraal in 1981 and was raised by his grandmother. According to friend and fellow photographer Sabelo Mlangeni, the death of Sakala's grandmother recently weighed heavily on the Market Photo Workshop student. Mlangeni discovered Sakala's body in his flat. Some of the projects that Sakala worked on include Homeland, which consisted of color portraits of young men and women living in the former Bantustans of KwaNdebele and Bophuthatswana. He worked alongside the likes of Mikhail Sabotsky, Akinbore Akabigi. He was 33 years old.
This week, one of SA's leading music shop, Tom's, is celebrating more than 35 years of being one of the leaders in their field. The household name, which deals with musical equipment, will celebrate the milestone with a day-long feed at their new Rivonia branch today.
I think they've contributed a great deal Tom's has always been like a household name amongst musicians, and they've been around for ages. I remember the first time my uncle took me to Tom's to check it out for the first time, and being overwhelmed with all the instruments, and he would tell me stories of how he used to go there as a kid and just hang around the shops on Saturdays. They didn't have any money, but they would just, window shop.
I think when we started this, we started it as a joke. We never thought a drumming band could actually get this far. But I mean, we have traveled to 26 countries. We've been nominated for 2 South African Music Awards. We've toured with Katy Perry. We've met a lot of cool artists along the way. Played drums for 30 Seconds to Mars. This has been an amazing experience, and I think we are nowhere near the end.
And that's how we come to the end of today's edition of the Art Bulletin, coming to you from Level 3, the venue that hosted the 2015 Standard Bank Young Artist of the Year Awards on Tuesday evening. To find out more about the winners and the celebrations, you can always visit www.standardbankarts.co.za. To keep in touch with us, you can tweet @MorningLive SABC and hashtag the Art Bulletin. Until next time, it's a goodbye from us.